Okay, everybody, thanks for coming into the shed. This morning, I'm excited to have Linus Unitan on the show with us here. He just did something pretty amazing, and I'll let Linus take it away. What did you just do, and why are you here today?
So I rode all the way around the metro area's urban growth boundary. It was about 235 miles or so. Um, the route was very much a subjective endeavor because a lot of the route goes places where there aren't roads or there aren't bridges. So I tried to stick to the streets. I tried to stick to where the bridges are. And yeah, just went around the whole thing, 234 miles or so. It was a great ride.
All in one shot, you did that?
Yep.
Okay, you have to back up just a little bit here. Tell us like who you are, like what's your biking experience, and what's your day job? Like who is Linus Unitan?
Yeah. So my name's Linus. I am a third year medical student at OHSU. So that's kind of my day job at the moment. Um, Been riding bikes for a little over 2 years now. Got into the scene through Pedalpalooza, and then it just sort of spiraled from there. Realized I was into this more distant stuff. So like to do a few centuries, a few 200K rides every now and again, and yeah.
Okay, so why the urban growth boundary? What about that route attracted you?
Yeah, so I kept going on these long rides that would stretch outside of town, out into kind of more rural areas. And oftentimes, when I reached the kind of the edge, I would find these suburban housing developments that were just being built, like they had just laid the streets down. There weren't any buildings yet, and you can go and you can ride on these streets and go to intersections with stop signs that are stopping non-existent traffic, and you feel like you're very much still in the middle of a field, and yet there will be houses there within a couple years. So a very surreal place. And I thought I need to find more of these. I need to find more patches. There's big ones in Happy Valley. There's big ones in Bethany, and these were areas that were added to the urban growth boundary in the late '90s and early 2000s. So I figured I just need to see where more of these places are, and doing the whole route was a great way to find them.
Okay, so the usual places that I hear about the urban growth boundary are like pretty wonky urban planning, metro regional government kind of spaces, not bike route spaces. So are you into urban planning? Is that part of the interest at all, or no? You're just a biker that needed a good excuse to see something cool and you liked that feeling of that, surreal suburban development demarcation line feeling.
Yeah, more the latter. I am interested in the policy that informs the lived reality that we're in. I feel like Oregon, in particular, its progressive environmental history when it comes to even like getting the urban growth boundary to exist at all is just super fascinating. But when it comes to making the decisions and negotiating between all the interested parties, oh man, that is super complicated. I'm just gonna ride my bike.
So do you have any different feelings about that issue and the fact that you've really been on literally the front line of the urban growth boundary, which is often a debate, can be controversial? There's actually some cities around the edge of that right now are really down lobbying hard down at the state capitol to expand their urban growth boundary. And there's a lot of battles. So it's a very relevant issue. Do you have any deeper appreciation for it, or how did the ride impact the way you feel about the whole idea of an urban growth boundary?
Yeah, it's hard. There are a lot of different people who want a lot of different things, and uh, existing in these spaces, standing at intersections where there aren't any houses yet, but houses are soon to be. You definitely get a sense of, okay, there will be a thriving community here before too long, and these suburban developments where the houses all kind of look the same can still have really diverse groups of people living in them, and we need housing, right? I can preach about how density is good all I want, but that's coming from a very urban perspective, right? And there will be people who want to live suburban lifestyles, and maybe there should be houses for them. It's hard. It's a really complicated thing. Witnessing the really sharp dividing lines between, you've got a row of houses on your right and then just a field on your left, is a really interesting experience.
When I've been at those areas where I can tell that the development is just starting, I've felt a little wistful sometimes, like a sense of loss. I'm just curious if, what your emotions were like when you get to that edge and you know that it's going to change and you look beyond as a cyclist, as a human being in the world, like you look beyond and you see these beautiful country places and rural places. Do you feel any sense of loss when you're out there?
I don't know about loss. Change for sure. You definitely notice the really, really sharp lines between, houses on your left and then just field on your right. So definitely change. But I still like, I ride out in Beaverton a fair amount. I feel like you can still get some good riding in, even in communities where people live. And we're just so lucky to have the urban growth boundary that we've got, to have those sharp lines. I feel like that's more so the feeling than loss.
Interesting. Okay, so tell me about. Oh, first I want to know, which bike did you ride? Was it that tall bike behind you or what?
No, no. Oh, that would have been so hard. No. I rode a titanium road bike that I bought off Craigslist from a guy who was moving to Spain and selling everything he owned. So cost me $1,000 and it was worth every penny. I love that bike.
Nice. Tell me about the pro tip that you unlocked with the loaf of bread hanging from your bike. Was it like a good
Oh, oh
safety
God.
hack there?
Yeah. So I had reached maybe mile 125 or so. I was about like 200K in, and desperately needed a store stop. There was a 1 24-hour plaid pantry in Oregon City. And then it was just closed Safeway after closed Safeway until I got to Sherwood sometime after dawn. Desperately needed food. And so I'm walking around this Safeway. I see the pile of clearance baked goods, and being a medical student and wanting to save some money, I reached for this like loaf of bread that was about yay big, and didn't have a great way to carry it on my bike when I was riding. So I tied it to the back of my bag and had it just sort of hanging there loosely. And for the rest of the day, the cars were pretty kind to me. I didn't get coal rolled at all. I didn't get people passing too close to me. I don't know what it was, but I feel like I unlocked some sort of secret where people see this loaf of bread hanging off of the back of your bike and it's some grand humanizing thing. Like maybe they see, oh, you are also a human who also enjoys to eat bread. Like I'm going to be kind to you. It reminded me a lot of in Lord of the Rings. Samwise Gamgee has this backpack with like cast iron hanging off of it, which seems ridiculous when
Yeah.
you realize the journey that they're on, right? But
Yeah.
that backpack looks a lot cuter with the pots and pans hanging off of it. So maybe the more we can do to humanize ourselves, the better, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're still humans when we're wearing lycra and biking down the road. I'm not saying that people should be kind to each other, but boy does it help when you can kind of advertise your humanity in some way.
Yeah, I love that. It reminds me, doing tours I've taken out in country places and stuff. Sometimes I'll wear like a cowboy hat if I'm out on a country road.
Oh, that's great.
And it's just like, you can't miss that if you're driving up behind me. It's
No
like,
way.
especially. So yeah, that's been really fun. I hear you on that. I love it. Okay. Linus, congratulations on the ride. So cool. Anything else that you want folks to hear about?
If there's some crazy ride that you want to do, just do it. It's so much fun. You get to see so much. And if you eat and you hydrate and you keep an eye on your electrolytes, you are capable of so much more than you know. So just go out there and do it. You'll have a blast.
Great. Thanks so much for coming on and talking to me today, Linus.
Thanks so much.